From Victor amazing everyone in his second game at the Summer League, to him somehow remaining down to earth despite all his success, here's how the NBA world erupted over Victor Wembanyama's Summer League performance. It's fair to say he's got people going crazy over him, and I mean all the praise he's getting is really deserved. Now, I've got to say, his performance in his debut game was a bit of a meh debut, leaving fans wondering if the hype was real. But guess what? Victor said, "Hold my basketball," and showed up big time in his second game just 2 days later. The dude was on fire, scoring a jaw-dropping 27 points, shooting 9 of 14, and snatching 12 rebounds. Oh, and let's not forget about those 3 epic blocks that left opponents scratching their heads. The San Antonio Spurs might not have clinched the win against the Portland Trail Blazers, but Victor's performance was the highlight of the game. This 7-foot phenom showed off his skills like a wizard with the ball, leaving NBA scouts and fans in awe. It's especially great to see him perform like this, with how much backlash he'd been getting at first. It's clear that he kept a level head and didn't let all those initial comments faze him one bit. He shook off those nerves and proved he's the real deal on the court. It's no wonder he was the talk of the town leading up to the 2023 NBA draft. And now it's clear all the naysayers have jumped on the hype train. While they were calling him a draft bust at first, now they're totally singing his praises. In fact, even his teammates have been impressed by his performance. One of the players on his team even said they've never played with someone like him before. Now, if that's not high praise, I don't know what is. And well, it's no surprise that he's wowing his own teammates. Let's not forget how much of a beast he was in one of the latest games in 2023. I mean, Wembanyama was taking players off the dribble, leaving them dizzy with his skills. And those putback dunks? Oh, they were like a one-way ticket to the highlight reel. He even showed off his range, nailing 2 of his 4 attempts from downtown. But that's not all, folks. As if his on-court dominance wasn't enough, the Spurs trio of Jeremy Sochan, Keldon Johnson, and Devin Vassell were sitting courtside, soaking it all in. And let me tell you, they were definitely blown away at what they were seeing. Sochan couldn't help but express his excitement by saying that they're gonna have a lot of fun this season, and that he can't wait to play with Victor. Sochan also complimented his height, adding that he's so tall, it's almost crazy to think about. And get this, a week before the NBA Summer League showdown, Wembanyama had a practice session with his new teammates. The guy dunked on not 1 but 2 players off a missed shot. Talk about making an entrance. Johnson and Vassell were just standing there looking at each other in disbelief and trying to process what they just witnessed. You know what's even cooler? Spurs guard Julian Champagnie had some mad respect for Wembanyama too. He said that it's really tough to get a shot off and get anything around him. But it's not just his on-court skills that Julian liked. He also added that Victor's also just kind of a cool dude, someone who loves the game and is fiercely competitive. And so they're all trying to get the on-court chemistry down, after which they might as well be unbeatable. And speaking of chemistry, I've got to talk about the dynamic duo. That is Victor and Dominic Barlow. I mean, these 2 giants are not here to play around. In just the first 2 games, they combined for a whopping 11 blocks. Now, what's even cooler is hearing Barlow's thoughts on playing alongside Wembanyama. When they first met, Barlow had to do something he's never done before. Look up. Yeah, that's how tall and imposing Wembanyama is. But you know what? That didn't intimidate Barlow one bit. Instead, he's super stoked to team up with Wembanyama, who's not just talented, but also an awesome worker. The dude listens, he's coachable, and he's got all the right moves to make the Spurs a force to be reckoned with. That said, like Julian said, they need to work more on their chemistry. Take, for example, their second game. Wembanyama had the ball in transition with his teammate Wesley running up the left sideline. Now, Wembanyama made a slick move, drawing 2 defenders to him like moths to a flame. But here's the kicker. Instead of cutting to the basket, Wesley popped out to the corner for a 3-pointer. Wembanyama thought Wesley was still heading to the hoop and the ball went out of bounds. But hey, it's all good. These 2 are just getting started and they've already had some sweet moments on the court. Chemistry doesn't just happen overnight, folks. Especially when you're playing with someone like Victor, who's far from your average basketball player. Getting used to having someone like that on your team can't be easy. I mean, that 7', 4 frame and 8-foot wingspan allows the guy to do things that other players can only ever dream of. So, the rest of the crew will need to learn his tendencies and try to get on the same page as a group. But hey, they're putting in the work and learning from their plays. And for what it's worth, Wembanyama looks so relaxed during warm-ups. just goofing around with coaches and chatting with his teammates. It's clear the guy's natural charisma and charm will make the rest of his team want to play alongside him and change a bit of their habits to accommodate his unique playstyle. That said, it's not exactly surprising why his teammates have been stunned by his performance. After all, even NBA legends like LeBron James have spoken about the guy. Yes, James was asked about this rising star, and let me tell you, his response was out of this world. I mean, the NBA star basically called him an alien. And before you start thinking LeBron's gone all Area 51 on us, let me break it down for you. LeBron said how the top players nowadays have been like unicorns, in the sense that they're the kind of people who've been doing everything right. And sure, that's great to see. But with Victor, it's like he's bringing something completely new to the table. He's the type of player that the NBA hasn't ever really seen before, bringing otherworldly skills to the court. You gotta understand, when LeBron, a guy who spent over 3 decades in the sport, says he's never seen anything like Victor before, that's some serious praise. I mean, LeBron's seen it all, played against the best of the best, and here he is, gushing over Victor like a starstruck fanboy. And let's talk about how this guy moves on the court. Despite towering over the rest of us mortals, he's so incredibly mobile and graceful, it's like he's gliding on air or something. No wonder he's got even the Lakers star impressed. But he's not the only one. Because other NBA legends talked about the rising star, I'm talking about none other than Kevin Durant. And let me tell you, KD's got nothing but love for this baller. He couldn't help but talk about Victor's insane talent and skills on the court. The star mentioned that Victor's got that kind of game that just puts a big smile on your face if you play and love basketball. It's like the perfect mix of finesse and power that leaves everyone in awe. And let's talk about how Durant sees this as a sign of the sport's evolution. There's a 7'5" dude out there who's practically the basketball equivalent of a Swiss Army knife. He can do it all, and it's stuff like this that inspires people to push their limits and be the best they can be. And while Kevin expected things to go great for Victor, he did give a fair warning to the rest of the league, saying that they're in some deep trouble when he makes his way to the court. Back then, Durant also added that he's excited to see when it'll happen, and he's personally highly anticipating it. It's clear the NBA world has gone crazy over Victor. But you want to know what's amazing? He's staying humble, even with all this praise coming his way. Even with the NBA world calling him some sort of basketball prodigy, he didn't want to get ahead of himself and start making big claims. It's clear that he's got a long journey ahead of him, and for now, he's focusing on himself and how to gel better with his team. But this kind of attitude is exactly what causes fans to love him even more. He really is a one-of-a-kind player, with both the skills and the attitude to make it big. So from him somehow managing to remain down to earth despite all his success, to Victor amazing everyone in his second game at the Summer League. That was how the NBA world erupted over Victor Wembanyama's Summer League performance.